In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Death Watch Mandalorian. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. And as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Death Watch Mandalorian. He is a brand new figure from the most recent wave of the Vintage Collection, and let's get straight into it and look at the card back. Get Bossk out of the way. There he is, Death Watch Mandalorian with the orange name pill, with the orange panel behind the figure. He is VC219 in the wave. I did do a video covering the whole wave of these figures if you want to check that out as well. I'll leave a link to the card up there. I go through all of the figures in the wave without opening them, but I am going to be opening them on their own individual reviews, and this is the turn of the Death Watch Mandalorian. And there he is in the bubble, looking pretty awesome, and I'm pretty sure that this is an image taken straight from the Mandalorian TV show, part of the flashback scene where the Death Watch Mandalorians come down and, you know, basically save the young Din Djarin. Pretty awesome scene. You get to see lots of them fly down, and there's a bit of a battle with some super battle droids and all things kicking off. It's a really good scene, and this image, as I mentioned, is straight from that scene. So it does look a bit weird that he's like missing his arm because he's like the way he's flying down, but you know, they've managed to capture the majority of the figure on that card back there. Back of the card back, as I mentioned, VC219. You can see some of the figures, or all of the figures from the wave, and also some from the previous wave as well. People are asking me where I managed to get this wave from, and I imported them from Singapore, although the sticker suggests they're from Malaysia. So as I mentioned previously in another video, if you're a variant hunter, you might want to track some of these down with the import sticker if that's what you're into. But there he is with the Mandalorian logo, the Kenner logo, looking pretty smart. And we're going to open the figure right now and take a look. Alright then, so first of all, I wanted to just put the figure up against two figures that we've already got that are very similar, of course. So first of all, we have the Mandalorian from Season 1 before he gets upgraded to Beskar, and we have the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Now, the reason I've put these two next to this guy, because essentially, when I first got this figure, I thought it was going to be a straight kickbash of perhaps this guy. And although they have used some of the parts of this Mandalorian figure, such as the armor on his thighs and things like that, and the gauntlets, some of it's very similar, maybe the chest piece of armor, but essentially the figure is very, very different. I'm going to come on to that in a second, and it's mainly to do with the articulation. Now, first of all, let's get these two figures out of the way, because I just want to get this guy in closer detail for you. There he is, the Death Watch Mandalorian. He's looking fantastic. Now, I did see some comments from my first video where people were saying that the colours looked washed out on this guy, and I've got to say, when it's in hand, I don't agree with that at all. I think the blues and the purples are vibrant, they look great. He looks a really, really nice figure. I think one criticism that people may have is that obviously you would want to army build this figure, and Hasbro have chosen to give this one the two stripes. Now, if you watch that scene, I think various different Death Watch Mandalorians jump down. There's one with one stripe, three stripes. For example, I think Hot Toys decided to do the one stripe or three stripe. I can't really remember, but Hasbro have gone with the two stripes. It means that you can't really necessarily army build this figure unless there's multiple ones with the two stripes. I don't really know enough about this particular group of Death Watch Mandalorians as to know whether there's going to be multiple ones with the two stripes, for example. But anyway, we've got the one with the two stripe, and that's just the way it is. You've got the two stripes on his thigh armor there as well. Now, to get into the reasons why this figure is different to anything that we've had before, first of all, the helmet has a working visor. Now, isn't it a shame that we didn't get the working visor on the Boba Fett figure, because obviously such a huge character, he could really have done with that. So that was a shame, but we've got it on the Death Watch Mandalorian. Really, really cool. And this particular figure also has the new style of joints on the hips. So very similar to Queel, and I think it's Bo-Katan, and definitely the Fennec Shan figure that I reviewed in the previous video. They all have these new hips. If you just look in there, you can see the pins in there. That's how the Black Series do it, and they've incorporated it into the Vintage Collection. We also have a working holster there with an extra blaster, which is awesome. So that's pretty cool. And you also get this blaster here, and we're going to go through all of the details in a minute. I'm just going to take this blaster out of his hands so we can take a look closer at the figure itself, and there he is. Really nice paintwork on the helmet. That's really good. I can't see any overspill there whatsoever. You've got the different shades of blue. So you've got his base blue, you've got a lighter blue, and then you've got a sort of more of a purple blue there. Obviously with the darker grey there, with the shading and everything, that looks fantastic. Really nice visor. As I say, it doesn't look like I've got any overspill on there. We have his chest armour there with the little silver paintwork in the middle, and also some chips and everything, a bit of battle damage on that armour. We have insignia on the shoulder, and on this shoulder nothing but his, I guess that's the rank, as I said, 2 stripes. And then on the back we have his rocket pack, which is blue and silver, and that is removable of course, and you can see there's the pin on the back and how that goes in. So that's really good. And also you can see the sculpting work that's on his actual clothing underneath the armour. That is very similar to the previous Mandalorian that we have. Very similar gauntlets. You can see that they've used the same hands because you've got that little diamond on there, which on the Mandalorian is painted very similar to what we have with the Shore Troopers. So they have used some parts, but it's not, you know, the same figure. Essentially, there is lots of differences and lots of upgrades. He also includes the rocker ankles, which that previous Mandalorian doesn't as well. So we're going to go through the articulation in a second, but I just wanted to give you a good look at the figure. Some nice brown strappings at the top of the boots there. One of them holds like a canister of something. And we've also got this nice paintwork on his shin guards. So all in all, a really nice looking figure. So let's take a look at the articulation. First of all, the head. Now I've just popped the head off there. Now, as you can see, it's a slightly different barbell to what we're used to. It's a lot bigger than the other ones. You do get a bit of movement in the bottom of the neck there, but most of the movement is going to come from the helmet itself. So once it's on there, you get a bit of movement there. Not too much movement there, but enough that you're going to need for this figure. Shoulders are on a ball hinge, and obviously they go to a right angle like that. So they will go all the way round as well. Ball hinged elbows, which swivel at the wrist with a hinge. Now that hinge is very, very stiff, so you want to be careful with that. And I've just noticed some nice silver paintwork on the gauntlet there, which is good. So you get the split at the torso, which is quite high up, which you get lots and lots of movement on that. That's actually quite loose, but it's very, very good. You can get him into all sorts of poses with that. And also there is a split at the waist as well. So you get a turn on there as well, which is going to add extra posability. As I mentioned, we've got those new types of hinges, those pins there on the hips. We have a split at the thigh. We have ball hinged knees. And then we have the hinge and the rocker on the ankle. So this guy is absolutely packed with articulation. We've got the extra bit on the rangefinder. We've got the split at the waist. Absolutely fantastic. You're going to be able to get this guy into some incredible poses. And I just think he looks really, really good. Let's have a look at that belt. And we've got some paintwork on the buckle there. Some like brass coloured paint. Goes all the way around there. And also the working holster, as I mentioned before. This little blaster is very, very small. This is very much like the blasters that came with Bo-Katan. This one has a brown handle. And that should fit in his hand, hopefully. There you go, that's pretty cool. But you do only get one of those, and then of course you get the other blaster there, which is a bit like Bossk's blaster, I guess, but looks pretty cool to me. No weathering on that whatsoever, no extra paint, it's just solid black plastic, but with a bit of detail on it, as you can see there in the light. There's the rocket pack, that's the other accessory. We've already seen that. That just goes on his back. And there you can see there the rangefinder. How cool is that? So I absolutely love this figure. I think it's a great addition to the line. I'm going to definitely want a few of these 100% in my collection. Really, really good figure. And the card back's glorious too. So win-win situation with this figure for both carded collectors and loose collectors. So there you go then, guys. That is the review of the Death Watch Mandalorian. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like down below because it really does help the video and the channel. I want to extend a big thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members. Thank you so much for the extra support. Thank you all for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.